Oh, 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 oh boy, oh boy. Okay, they're not bad. They're not bad. They're not bad. Hey everyone, Caffeine Man here, and today I am very excited to be bringing you Caffeine Melts. Why am I so excited about this? Well, it has been far too long since I reviewed a caffeinated product for you guys. Coming right up. Hello again everyone, thank you so much for joining me today where I go over everyday energy for everyday people. It is primarily energy drink reviews, but I also do the occasional caffeinated product like I have for you today, as well as some caffeine safety videos. That sounds like it might be interesting to you. Feel free to hit that subscribe button, and if you know anybody else who likes caffeine, be sure to share this video with them. Really trying to get the name out about Caffeine Man. Because in today's video, we're going over Dr. Steve's Caffeine Melts. What are caffeine melts? Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you all about it. I'm going to give you a quick history about Dr. Steve and how he came up with this product. I am definitely going to go over the benefits of this product and what's in it, and finish off with a taste test of a bunch of different flavors that they sent me. This is going to be a slightly longer video, so I am definitely including timestamps down below so you guys can go where you want to go. Dr. Steve's Caffeine Melts. It is not just a gimmicky name. Dr. Steve is just that. He is an actual doctor who got his doctorate in pharmacy, so he definitely knows his way around this topic. I mean, pharmacy. And he first began selling these caffeine melts in December of 2019 at the Jacksonville Riverside Arts Market in Florida. And things were going well until you guys know what happened. In March of 2020, COVID-19 decided to show up and really cut down on commerce as well as any public events. He did not let this get him down though. He actually decided to keep working on this stuff, keep making the product better, and continue to come out with more flavors. Well, what's better than making more flavors? And since he couldn't actually sell them in person, we still do have the online market, so online is always an option. But you know, I gotta tell you, after DMing back and forth with Dr. Steve, I have a feeling that his personality really helps sell these, and not just sell them, but really helps people feel comfortable enough to want to try this product in person, as opposed to just seeing like reviews on a website and just being like, oh, do I really want to buy this from the website without trying them? So I can see why this might have hurt his business a little bit. So hopefully he is back out there in Florida doing these shows, even though it's winter time now, but I'm sure he'll be back out there soon enough. And he went from just being Dr. Steve selling caffeine melts to being a small business who now has about 10 employees under him. So things are slowly expanding for him. Maybe we can get him some more employees after this video, get some more sales up, huh guys? What do you think? It depends on how they taste and the benefits, obviously. But let's talk about the benefits and see what benefits these caffeine melts actually do have. Well, these melts do have 5 calories or less in them, depending on the flavor. They also have B vitamins in them, which is great. But whenever it comes to caffeinated products, I am always excited by the dramatic differences between caffeinated products and energy drinks, as well as coffee, because they're not liquids. So the first thing you need to know about these is that they're not going to be ingested. Normally when you have coffee, energy drink, or anything that you put in your mouth and swallow, the caffeine is going to be absorbed through your intestines, and therefore it takes a little bit longer to work, and it could take up to 20 to 30 minutes to begin processing before you can actually start feeling the effects of caffeine. When you have products such as these melts, you put them in your mouth and the caffeine is absorbed through your oral membranes, which means it's going to go through your system faster, and you can actually feel the effects within 10 minutes. Who doesn't want faster acting caffeine? Not only that, but caffeine is a diuretic, meaning it is going to cause you to go to the bathroom a little bit more depending on how much caffeine you actually have. And when your caffeine is in an actual beverage, you're drinking a liquid that is a diuretic, and you are definitely going to be going to the bathroom a lot more. Therefore, when I refer to products like these melt, I usually say, you know, they're good for truck drivers that need to have their caffeine but don't want to be taking pit stops all the time. They're good for anyone actually driving long distances and don't want to have to keep stopping at rest stops. It's also great for students who are going to be going into an exam. And actually, there are just plenty of situations, such as, you know, going on a vacation, being on an airplane, going on a cruise and not having access to energy drink. And the list goes on and on and on, but there are plenty of places choices, and you've probably been in them, where you probably don't want to have an energy drink or you can't have an energy drink, but you need your caffeine. That's where these melts are going to come in handy, because these melts, they're small. I mean, they fit right in your pocket, and they have a couple of different sizes. You have this size container. You also have this size container. But these containers can fit right in your pocket, they can fit right in your purse, they can fit right in your backpack. Wherever you store stuff, you can fit these in there. And it's always great to have smaller sources of caffeine to keep on you at all times. And since they're small and they can fit in your pocket, you don't even have to worry about keeping them cold, but because you're just holding them on you. You do want to make sure that you don't put them in the heat, direct sunlight kind of thing, because they are called melts. You can figure out the rest from there, I hope. But let's go ahead and talk about what you can expect from these melts. Now, they do actually have different dosages, which I'm a big fan of. They have 60 milligrams, they have 120 milligrams, they have 150 milligrams, and they have 200 milligrams. So you'll be able to control your dosages if you're looking for just a little bit of caffeine, or you need a little bit more of a power punch, or if you're someone who's sensitive to caffeine or less sensitive to caffeine, you'll be able to control your dosages. These are also sugar-free, so you don't have to worry about any kind of a sugar crash. And although these don't have sugar in them, they do use stevia to help with the sweetness, but it is a premium stevia that is supposed to help out with that taste of stevia that sometimes people don't really like. I know that I actually have a negative reaction to stevia. It makes my tongue think it tastes like chemicals, but it could be because the drinks that I had use a cheap stevia. Most companies usually try and use the cheapest stuff, but I heard this stevia is a premium stevia. And when it comes to caffeinated products, I found that most of the caffeinated products that do use stevia don't affect me, because the amount of stevia that they put in there is probably a decent amount less than what they put in energy drinks to make those sweeter. We will see when I try out these melts if I get that chemically taste or not. And these right here, these are the rest of the ingredients. Most of these ingredients are used to kind of help it hold together, but basically you're just getting flavored caffeine that melts under your tongue. Now, we are very close to tasting them out. I know you guys have been waiting for the taste test, but before we do that, I do have some paperwork to go over. Now, when you order these, they do actually send you some handy dandy paperwork. Does anyone say handy dandy anymore? Dr. Steve probably does, because we're both similar ages, a couple years apart. I don't want to give away how old I am, though. I'll let you guys do the math if you check out the website. But in these pamphlets, they actually go over all the different flavors that they have, so you can get a much better idea of everything that they have. It also has the ingredients, and there is also some interesting information on here. And I say interesting information because if you do decide to buy these, you might be like, oh, Caffeine Man recommended these, if they're good. And you take the plunge, and then you get this package and you look at it and you start to read it, and they do have some warnings on here that could be a little scary, that make you reconsider your purchase. You're like, what's going on here? Why are they doing this? So before you actually consider purchasing these, I am going to go over some of this information that they provided to lessen the shell shock for you guys. So some of the advice they give on here: you start with the lowest dosage, yada yada yada. Place the melts under your tongue. Okay, do not chew. That's an important one. You definitely don't want to chew these. They are not gum. They are not mints. They are melts. They are meant to melt in your mouth, not be chewed. That didn't rhyme like I thought it was. I wasn't going to say that other thing. You guys probably said it in your head too, because I said it in my head. Don't leave your melts in the heat. We already went over that. But here is the interesting part that I'm going to read right from here. These are not a dessert. They aren't candy. They are caffeinated supplements. So please lower your expectations for the taste. So they're doing a really polite job in letting you know that these might not taste good. I am uncertain how I feel about that. On one hand, you're telling me these aren't going to be as good as I thought they were. Why would you start like that since I just bought them? But on the other hand, I'm always a fan of a pre-warning. They're basically saying, listen, if you're expecting Starburst out of these, you're not going to be getting that. Starburst doesn't have caffeine in it unless you try out the C4 Starburst flavors, which are really great, and you can save 20% off at C4 Energy on them. They're letting you know, hey, these have caffeine in them, so you might taste a little bit of bitterness from caffeine. And honestly, I can accept that. And I can also accept taking one for the team, for you guys, so you know what you're getting into and not have to be scared from this paperwork. It also goes on to say, Ever had beer? I know some of the people that watch my channel definitely should not have had beer. Ever have coffee? I know a lot of you have who hasn't had coffee. It's all an acquired taste. Generally speaking, so are melts. Melts may provide a smooth caffeine experience with reduced caffeine crashing, shakes, jitters, and bathroom urgency. I already went over that stuff. But yeah, that's the gist of it. Going over that stuff so that you don't get scared if you end up buying these and read that. And let's go ahead, let's taste them out so I can tell you exactly what to expect, as opposed to listening to that paperwork, which might not be that accurate, or it might be very, very accurate. Let's taste them out. I'm only going to be starting off with one today. Like I said, they have lots of different dosages. The first one we're going to be starting out with is the Cheesecake Classics, and actually there's two different kinds in here. They have the Dulce de Leche, I'm not French, I can't pronounce it right, but that's one of the flavors. And then the other flavor is black cherry, and usually cheesecakes usually have cherry on top, so we're going to go with that one. And these are the 60 milligram option. This is what they look like, and this is what they taste like. Oh, 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 oh boy, oh boy. Okay, okay, they're not bad. They're not bad. They're not bad. I did not follow the instructions. It says it clearly. I think I read it. It says place melt under your tongue, and then I said yada 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 because I wasn't even paying attention. So wow. It's very strong. So it wasn't that it tasted really bad. It was just that it was really strong. So we're gonna cleanse the palate a little bit, and we are going to take the melt and we're going to place the melt under your tongue. Always good to read the instructions, people. Let's try this again. Much better, much better. I would say they're slightly large. I mean, they fit under your tongue, but you can kind of feel it there. You kind of know it's there. I can see you kind of getting used to it, and it does start to melt down a little bit. But, you know, something to be aware of when you do put it under your tongue. And you probably shouldn't be talking while you have your mouth full. Not that it's full, it's under your tongue, but it is going to make your speech sound a little bit, a little bit different. So we'll see how long these take to melt. I will jump cut and get right back to you, but I am getting some of that cheesecake flavor in there, the cherry cheesecake in there, and I am getting a little bit of that bitterness in there as well that they talked about, but let's touch base on that again in just a few minutes. Alright, so that was just about 3 minutes or so. It pretty much dissolved, and I would say that it did taste similar to cheesecake. And the reason I started with cheesecake is I'm a big cheesecake fan. I've had lots of different kinds of cheesecake, and that does taste similar to cheesecake, but I did get some bitterness in there. And on a scale of bitterness, I would say it wasn't like a 1. It wasn't like something you could just kind of ignore. I definitely got the bitterness, and maybe it's just because it's my first one, but I also suspect as I look through the pamphlet, I see a lot of different flavors that might actually be stronger. So I might have just started off with the wrong one, the cheesecake. It's definitely not bad. Like I said, you are getting that cherry flavor, you are getting that cheesecake. If you're less sensitive to bitterness, it might not be too much for you. And I didn't really get any stevia out of there. I know what stevia tastes like. I know the chemical reaction that I have negatively to stevia. I didn't get that, so that was positive. But let's go ahead and put this on the Caffeine Man rating chart. Do I do the chart with? I do the chart for like energy drinks. I don't think I can fit everything on the chart. Anyway, I'm just going to score it right now. I'm actually going to give this a 7.5. It's an okay flavor, and I think that if it was just slightly less bitter, probably would have been a bit higher. Let's go ahead, taste out some more flavors, see how they do. All right, guys, just came out from GNC. Actually, they were having $1 G Fuels, so I actually got a bunch of the Miami Nights that they had. But anyway, their fridge wasn't actually working, so I needed to get some caffeine, and I got my Caffeine Melts right here. These are 60 milligrams that really help you control the intake that you have, and this one is the Virgin Pack. Virgin Pack has 2 flavors in it, and those flavors are the green apple brandy as well as mango pina colada. So can you catch which one I'm going to be having? I can't tell which one's which. I'm going to guess the orange one is the mango pina colada. And as we already know from the first one I tried, these go underneath your tongue, because if you put them on top, ooh, that's strong. So they go underneath, and I already said all the other stuff. You know already. can already get the flavor from underneath my tongue. Ooh, that is good. You got some nice mango flavor, and then that coconut comes in. Definitely liking this. Probably the best one so far. And like I said, I'm probably gonna only try a couple. I'm gonna try one of each milligram one. They get 60, 120, 150, 200. But I'm gonna taste more of them and give you my scores on as many as I've tried. And this one is really good. And now I'm really starting to get that sour tartness coming in on the back end. Yeah, this is really good. And you know, they take a little bit to dissolve. I have that information in the first video, how long they take to dissolve. And yeah, really good. So I'll be back in a few seconds or a couple minutes to give you my final score. But the mango and pineapple, coconut. They might have some pineapple in there too. A Pina Colada, so there probably is pineapple in there. But yeah, really good. And I'm actually going to score it right now. I don't even have to wait till it's dissolved. I am going to give this a 9.4. Yes, very good. Not sure if any other flavor is going to beat that, because I am a personal fan of Pina Colada. But I will see you guys at the next review. All right, it is Friday night and I am ready to party. So I need to get my caffeine so I can last all night out. And by party, I mean I got a lot of editing to do tonight, so I need to get some caffeine to keep me awake so I can get you guys some more videos. And what I'm going to be doing tonight is I am actually going to be trying out the saltwater taffy pack. And this actually consists of strawberry melon taffy as well as apple pie taffy. And this one is the 120 milligram option. I'm trying to get you one flavor of each of the options. So let's go ahead and let's taste out the apple pie taffy. Very excited. Apple pie, love apple pie. Here is what it looks like. And as we all know, it goes underneath your tongue. It is very strong in flavor. I can already start to taste some of that apple pie. And as you guys know from my first few videos, that I sound funny when I talk and have something in my mouth, but it does take a while before you get the full flavor. So I will probably fast forward this a little bit until I get more flavor so I can tell you what it tastes like. So the first thing that I'm getting from this is I'm getting actually some tartness as well as the apple flavor, but I am actually getting some bitterness in there, a little bit more bitterness than the 60 milligram option. And you are getting double the amount of caffeine, so you are going to taste a touch more bitterness, but I am definitely going to have another 120 milligram melt. I do plan on trying a couple of them so I can actually show you some scores of ones that I'm not actually recording, because I am curious if maybe this flavor, the apple pie, isn't covering up the bitterness as much as some of the other flavors might. You are definitely getting some apple flavor out of here. I'm not sure if I would really call it apple pie. They might have just been getting a little bit creative with the name, but it is a good apple flavor. But the bitterness for me is just a little bit overpowering, which is why I'm very interested in trying some of the other 120 milligram options. Putting this on the Caffeine Man rating chart, I'm going to give this a solid 8.0. And I will see you guys for the next caffeine melt. All right, guys, I am back with the next flavor, and now we are actually upgrading to the 150 milligram option, and this one is going to be the strawberry lemonade. Let's go ahead, let's taste it out. Here's what it looks like. I was curious after having the 120 with that bit of bitterness that it had, how this one would taste at 150 to see if it was any more bitter. But I think it might just be because of the flavor, because it wasn't a strong, potent flavor. I think this one has definitely getting the strawberry in there, and you actually get the lemon too. So you got some strawberry lemonade flavor, and I really think that the lemonade helps balance out some of that bitterness. You are still definitely getting some bitterness in all of these, but if you're okay with a little bit of bitterness, then you are getting this nice strawberry lemonade flavor. I probably like this one so far the second favorite. I think I've only had 3 so far, but I do think it is pretty good, and I am going to probably jump cut this and wait for it to dissolve some more, because it does take a couple of minutes before they completely dissolve, and be back with my thoughts. So it is definitely just about gone, and I do have a lot more lemonade flavor in my mouth, so I am getting the lemonade seems to be stacking a bit, and that bitterness seems to have subsided, or maybe I just get kind of used to that little bit of bitterness, but we'll see. As I continue to try these out, I will see you guys shortly for the next flavor. It is going to be the 200 milligrams, and I forgot to give you a rating, so it is actually going to be an 8.5. All right, guys, we are back in the studio for this final caffeine melt, and this last one is going to be the 200 milligram option. And not sure if you'll be able to see it, but it is the strawberry lime peach, and that has a lot of different flavors, strawberry, lime, and peach but I'm gonna guess that you need that many strong flavors to be able to cover up the bitterness in these melts. As it's already been pointed out, you should expect a little bit of bitterness from the caffeine. They didn't cover it up completely. It's not an extremely bitter flavor, but it is good to know that it is there. But some of the flavors have covered it up. But when I do my final wrap up, I'm gonna give you some scores of the other ones that I tried and give you my final thoughts on how these flavors taste and what could be the best one for you to try. Without further ado, let's try out the strawberry lime peach. In and under the tongue. Get that lime first. Definitely get that lime. Peach is coming in. Strawberry. Got all three of them. That lime, peach, and strawberry. Strawberry's a little bit lighter. The lime is definitely taken over, and that peach is a good too. And in typical fashion, I will either speed through this or jump cut it to get it towards the end. Wow, that lime is really strong. And before we even speed up, that bitterness is a bit minimal. So for 200, position it so I can talk. So at 200 milligrams of caffeine, it should be one of the more bitter ones, but they did a really good job covering up some of that bitterness with that strong, potent lime flavor. There is still a little bit of bitterness, but definitely not as much as the one that I had in the apple pie, and just a really good flavor. Give you a couple minutes, be right back with my results. Alright, so that was really good. If you like lime flavors, they definitely gave you a lot of lime flavor in there. I'm going to say it was probably like 70% lime in there. And then the other 30% was the peach and strawberry kind of fighting each other out. Maybe like a 15 and a 15 because I got both of the flavors in there. But that lime really overpowered it. And even now, even after like a minute or so of being done with the melt, I have that lime in my mouth. And I do have a touch of that bitterness. I would say out of all of them, this might be the least amount of bitterness, probably competing with that Pina Colada flavor, which was only 60 milligrams. And like I said, when I get into my final thoughts, I'm gonna go over, now that I've tried a bunch of them, how I feel certain flavors are covering up that bitterness. But for now, let's go ahead and put this on the Caffeine Man rating. Am I putting them on the chart? I am gonna give this one a solid 9.0. I think they did a great job with the flavor. And if you don't mind a touch of bitterness, you're definitely gonna like this lime peach strawberry flavor. Strawberry lime peach? Strawberry peach lime. You know what I'm talking about. Alright guys, today we're going to be closing up this video, and man, this video is going to be way too long. I've done too many other clips of this, but before, I don't want to make it too much longer, but I definitely have to try out the coconut lemon for you guys. The coconut lemon is 150 milligrams, and I did actually want to point out after having these that if you find a favorite flavor that you like let's say there's a 200 milligram one or even a 150 that you like and you're like, oh man, I really wanted to have that coconut lemon again, but I don't want 150, that's okay, because look at these. I showed them to you once before, but they're actually scored. So you can actually break these, which I'm actually going to do. I'm going to break this in half just like that. And because they're scored, you can break them into quarters. I don't like math, so I'm not going to tell you what a quarter of 150 is. I'm just going to stick to a half, which is 75, which half of that would probably be, what, 37 and a half. So if you want 37 and a half milligrams of caffeine, you can break it into fourths. I'm going to save that other half for later. Let's go ahead, put it under the tongue for the final taste test, coconut lemon. And it fits so much better under your tongue at half size. So take that into consideration. Strangely enough, coconut right up front, and there comes that lemon. But that coconut, they did a good job with the coconut. As you guys know at this point, 3 to 4 minutes, how long it takes to melt. I shall be back in just a few more minutes. Just a few seconds, jump cut it out. Alright, I'm back, and I really like that flavor. That is really good. It's very, very odd too. It was messing around with my taste buds because I first got the coconut, and then I had that lemon come in, and it was a strong lemon, but they give you enough coconut so that the coconut comes back, and you are getting this even mix of coconut and lemon. And you do get a touch, a hint of that bitterness on the back end, and I think all of these, you're going to get just a little bit of bitterness in them. So they were right in their paperwork, in their pamphlets, letting you you know that you're going to get some good flavors in here, but you are going to have a little bit of bitterness on the back end. But I think most of them had only just a little bit of bitterness. There was only a couple that the bitterness was a little too much for me, or a little bit stronger. And before I talk about that, I'll put it on the Caffeine Man rating chart. I am going to give this one an 8.7. Definitely something I would try again, but it depends on how many flavors I try to see which ones I would pick up, because even though I might have this one again, I'd probably be going for that Pina Colada, but I definitely have to try out some of the other pineapple and coconut flavors. 8.7. Alright guys, so I'm going to get into my final thoughts right now. The ones that you saw me record in my car, and actually just the ones that you saw me post in this video, I posted those because I wanted to give you at least one of every dosage. Some of them I gave you two of a dosage, but I will be putting up my other scores on the screen. They should actually be there right now, because I did actually try out more, but how much longer can this video be? I didn't want to make it too long, but I wanted to give you a smattering of each dosage that they had, just to give you an idea of how I felt about all of these. I think that the flavor should be your secondary option. It should, of course, flavor is a big thing for all of us, even energy drinks. Some of us don't even care about what's in the energy drink. We just like the flavor of it. But some of us do care about what we're putting into our bodies. And this is a great way to control your caffeine, to get the doses that you need, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. These are going to be really great for me at work when I need to get through the workday, but I don't want to be drinking an energy drink. I don't want to have to be going to the bathroom. I want to have caffeine. I want to have energy, and I want to have focus on my job. I can just pop one of these under my tongue, get my favorite flavor going. Really think you're going to love these because of the benefits that they're actually giving you. And I'm just a huge fan of additional caffeine options. You're just going to be getting a good flavored caffeine out of these. And a good tip that I definitely wanted to mention to you guys is that you probably want to stick with the stronger flavors. And what do I mean by that? Anything that you know to yourself to be a stronger flavor, something like your citruses, something like your oranges, your lemons, your pineapples, your sour flavors, all of those strong flavors, or any of the other ones that you can think of as being a strong flavor, they really do help cover up most of the bitterness on these. They also have a bitterness suppressor, which helps out a bit, but the stronger the flavor, the less bitterness you're going to taste. So when it came to, let's say, the cheesecake, when it came to the apple pie, those were more desserty flavors, and I did pick up on the bitterness just a little bit more. But when you got those strong, powerful limes and lemons, you're really not going to get much bitterness out of them as you would with like the dessert ones or the lighter flavored ones. Hopefully you guys know what strong flavors are and what lighter flavors are. And overall, I'm definitely a fan of this product. I love having an alternative to energy drinks and coffee. I do use caffeinated products several times a week. When I talk about caffeinated product, I mean not energy drinks, but products that have caffeine in them, such as mints, gums, chocolates, etc., 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 because I like different sources of caffeine and caffeine control. Thank you so much to Dr. Steve for sending me all these different mints that you sent me in exchange for an honest review. I really do appreciate it. If you guys are looking to pick up these caffeine melts, check out caffeinemelts.com for all the flavors that they have and any information that I might have missed. They do have a frequently asked questions section and lots of great information on the website. Thank all of you for joining me today. I know this video was slightly longer, but I do like to get you guys as much information as possible. So until next time, you can enjoy this video right here. This is also another caffeinated product you can check out. And since you guys are watching this video and probably like caffeinated products, there is another one right there. And I know you were distracted by how wonderful this video was, so don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, have yourselves a great day or night.